Hey guys, Dill from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll bring you my My Hero Academia Chapter 307 read-through. Now, once again, there were no names in the last episode because my editing software is crapping out on me again. I really need to get a new one, but I can't afford one. Hey, I paid for the one I've been using, so not happy about that, but we'll see whether or not this one has names. I mean, you'll obviously see on Monday, but anyway, this chapter, it's hard to tell whether this is jumping ahead or back a few minutes. I'm going to say back, just by how this one ends. Would make sense if it was happening just before the end of last chapter, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, the chapter is titled Long Time No See. The escapee appeared here in this district, and promptly a designated area for evacuations was established, but there are still some citizens out there who were unaccounted for. Let's get them to safety first. Heard that the folks still out here are disobeying orders because of heroes like us. As long as we practice Miss Joke's signature smile, we can get them to join us. We are following Shindo Yo and Nakagame Tatami, who you may all remember from the provisional license exam. Shindo was the one who could create shockwaves, generate them from his hands, and for the amount of shockwaves he feeds out, he then gets a portion of that returned into his body. And Tatami, she's got the telescopic body, so she can just collapse her torso into her pelvis, her head into her torso, and like that. So it's interesting that we're following these people. Like, I would have more thought Shiketsu, but Ketsubutsu is obviously in this area. Also, they've given Tatami the same youth language that they were giving Kami back in the remedial course arc, because when Shindo turns around to her with Miss Joke's signature smile, she calls him cringe. Anyway, onwards with speed we go. The report said that they're all huddled in the Taguchi building. Hey, wait up, Yo-kun. Because remember, these two are in a relationship. This ain't kids these times. It's pointless. Go home. It's too dangerous here. You won't last long if you don't move. Please, evacuate to the designated shelter. Designated shelter? So we can become fish in a barrel for any attacking villains you heroes fail to protect us from again? We succeeded in taking out scum who tried to loot us. We're more competent than you think. This is our hometown. We'll be the protectors of it. We can't let some outsider swoop in only to fail again at our expense. I believe in your abilities when it comes to taking on looters who are only there to steal. But escaped Tartarus prisoners and the Nomu? They're a different story. We followed the report here after one of the escapees was sighted in these parts. We're only concerned for your welfare. What'll happen if you encounter an opponent who's motivated by violence and bloodshed alone? Coming across a person who's abandoned their humanity is life-threatening to pro heroes, let alone civilians. Like I said, we trust in our abilities more than we trust in the likes of you. Are you heroes that pompous to think that you can just bark orders at us while we grovel at your feet? So, they've entered the building and met a group of civilians who are taking up arms to fight the villain that's caused this evacuation. Because, well, they've been able to hold off looters and the likes so far, so obviously they're up to some form of skill and think they can protect themselves from this. But Shindo does actually give a hint at the villain that's attacking the area, with his one motivated by violence and bloodshed alone, who abandoned their humanity. Now, that could be a number of villains from Tartarus, but of the ones that we know are in Tartarus, who does that cover? We've got Moonfish, we've got All for One, and we've got Muscular. I'm only pompous in my knowledge that we can fight better. I will protect you. Aren't those the same words that brought us into this mess in the first place? Our minds are made up. Scram, kid. Go out and play at being a so-called hero elsewhere. L. That's a pretty big L right there, yo. Press F to pay respects. Yeah, I cringe at Tatami's language as well. Damn it. If I had used vibration, I could have brought the entire building down. I would physically drag them out if I could. So, we've got to remember that Shindo, he plays it up for people. Basically, he's Bakugo pretending to be Midoriya. At least, the Midoriya back in the provisional licensing exam and everything. Like, he's the happy, be friends with everyone, just explain everything, take the responsibility for yourself. Yet he does have the fire and anger that Bakugo has, since Bakugo was the one that was able to see through his facade. And here we see, I could have just used my powers to bring the building down and just drag them out by force if I wanted to. But no, I'm a hero, I can't do that. Anyway, Tatami is interrupted by a phone call coming through, saying, "There's a call from Makabe. It's no telling how long the connection out here will last. Make it quick. You two need to get out of there now." What? Itajiro confirmed it with his naked eye. There's a villain heading right for your direction. It's too late for you guys there. Run immediately. And we see them turn on the spot as a figure launches from a building in a massive leap, crashing into another building before jumping again. He's coming, the escapee. Hey guys, let's have some fun. It's just the two of you. What a shame. Don't you have any more friends? And we get our first look at the newly escaped Muscular. Am I happy with the voice I just gave him? No, but it's what we're doing for this chapter. Tatami, send an alert to Sensei requesting for backup. Civilian lives are at risk. What about you, Yokun? I'll knock this guy down. Sounds like a plan. Let's see you try. Tatami runs back into the building that the civilians were gathered in, just as they're looking at Muscular arrive. I can't stand to watch our town get destroyed any longer. Please, listen to me. This villain poses an extremely high risk. You must evacuate immediately. This is none of your concern. We're not going to listen to you. I'm not going to let you kill yourselves out there. Luckily, before any of them can actually run, the whole building is shook by Muscular landing on a rooftop across the street. And he is a beast. Basically, right now he's looking like a Titan from, well, Attack on Titan, because his entire body is just exposed muscle fibers. he says, "Is that all the fight you've got in you? A hero's always in the vicinity of civilians he's protecting. Now that's a handy proverb." Shindo tries to use his quirk on Muscular, but it's useless. You're being buried under 12,000 layers of muscle fiber. Whatever strength you can muster is no match for my sheer size. And it's interesting that he actually gives us a number on this beast form of his. 12,000 layers. Now, I'm not sure if that's just his entire body is accounted to 12,000 or just under the top portion that's holding Shindo down that would be affected by the vibrations is 12,000. That's right. My maximum vibrations render me unable to move for a while. There are certain things that I'm not allowed to do lest I hurt my opponent. But with the way this is going, I'll have to shake you a little bit harder, because as the proverb goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Trembling earth, I'll turn you into a muscle milkshake. However, using his strongest move, the one that causes his body to be immobilized by the residual shocks, has no effect on Muscular. He says, "Just gotta add more layers then." "Yo-kun, we're going to save him. Time for a bloodbath." However, luckily, before Muscular can deal any blows to Shindo, or any of the civilians can try and help him, Muscular is suddenly knocked back by a smash, and he's blasted across the street into a different building. Huh? Muscular? No wonder my danger sense was going haywire. That voice, could it be? We get a proper look at Midoriya in his vigilante suit, because I don't think he's a hero now. Like, as soon as he dropped out, well, not dropped out, but left UA, the provisions under which he has his hero's license would have been null and void. Like, he's not training at a hero school anymore. He doesn't have hero, like, he's not allowed to do hero work because that's the conditions for him having the license. So he is very much a vigilante right now, and as such he actually covers his face and everything. And what once was a goofy looking suit way back when he was at UA now looks menacing. I don't know whether it's just the tattered version of it or he did something to the eyes, but it looks menacing. And of course Muscular is excited for a rematch. Here's the thing. Back in the training camp arc, when Midoriya was first going up against Muscular, Muscular was using nowhere near as much power as he was just using against Shindo, and yet Midoriya wasn't even able to really move him without really strong attacks. Now he's coming in, and one kick is sending a fully muscled Muscular flying. Just shows the power difference between Midoriya then and Midoriya now, and also proves that his 1,000,000% punch was not even his full power. That he was what, 45 at brief moments, like at the moment of impact he could bring that out, and a sustainable, was it 30? I don't remember, but yeah, he's about halfway. Maybe he's surpassed halfway in the month and a half since the war started or something, but yeah, he's definitely not anywhere near his max. And to show that he's able to throw muscular around now is very indicative of his growth. This is also where the chapter ends for this week. I know it's a bit shorter than it normally is, but I have no control over that. But yeah, so a very interesting chapter. Obviously, it's set. Where the fuck did I put my mouse? Obviously, it's setting up the next chapter for a showdown between Muscular and Midoriya. Maybe some help from the civilians. Maybe Tatami and Shindo will recover to join the fight as well. Because I didn't mention that the civilians had knocked Tatami down to try and get past her in the building, but yeah. It'll be interesting for Shindo and Midoriya to meet again, considering they had an interesting dynamic back at the provisional licensing exam, especially in round 2, where Midoriya sort of had to save Shindo after he used his tremoring earth against Gang Orca and his goons, and then he came back to help. Yeah, they've proven they can work together. It's just whether Shindo will even recognize Midoriya. But I have nothing else to really say about this. Hopefully my editing software works, but if it doesn't, then you know why there's no names. If it does, then disregard this statement. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.